Hello everybody, uh, welcome to first video of the year, and I thought we can go in with a bang. The first video I mean, year number one. We're gonna be doing gonna do an explosion. It's not perfect, but you know, it's something, like I always say. We are going to use Axiom, which is a GPU solver for those that don't know about it. I think you can follow along even if you're using Pyro, but you can get the trial version for free, obviously. Why would you pay for a trial version? I will leave a link in the description. And if you have Apprentice, it's going to be totally free if I'm not completely wrong. But if you're using Indie or Up, you can still use the trial version. Otherwise, it's like 99 bucks. I think it's worth it. But yeah, I think we can get into the tutorial and start with the source. So let's get in and make our source. Start up with adding a geometry node, dive into this. We are going to start with the Pyro burst source. And if you want to, you can just use this and not do what I'm doing after this, but follow along. I think it's the result gets better, easier by doing it this way. You'll see we'll up to tray length so that it covers more of the ground. Well, basically you have to make changes to your shape however you feel like. Let's go with, let's lower that and make more of it. Maybe that's fine. Let's also create our sources: density, temperature, burn being fuel, because we're going to use the combustions, and with burn or fuel plus temperature equal boom. Okay, and then we're going to have another one which would be divergence, and I believe that's influence. I think we need this to do pressure. I could be wrong, but who knows? We'll see. I'm just going to add some more density, a little bit more temperature. Let's start with that. Yeah. Now, what I want to do is I want to time shift this to just be on the first frame. Or let's do second frame. So let's just do first frame, like so. Now you no longer see this clock, which basically means if it's a clock, it means that something happens. It's time dependent, but I don't want this. It's gonna do our own thing. So now when we have that, I'm gonna convert this to VDB, so we can fill this up with grains. Let's see here. Change some values. This is always fun to get something like so. Maybe once we have that, we can do a VDB convert, or convert VDB. I always say everything the opposite. Convert this to polygons. We could, if you want to smooth it. I don't know if we actually need that. So let's say this is no. do a B2B smooth as well. Is it signed this one? Smooth a little bit, you know, once. It's cool. So now we have a polygon again. Now we can do something with this. Let's just make this less polygon rich. What we want to do now is we want to fill this with points. I'm going to use the Vellum grains. Vellum configure grain from volume. And again, now we just have to find a value that we like. Let's say 0.015. That's okay. I think that's fine. By the way, before this, maybe we should just can just flatten this. It's an earth. So we're flattening it. It stands nicely on the floor, on our infinite gray, beautiful floor here. And what we want to do now is first we can just add some nulls. I like me some nulls here. So constraint Vellum points maybe. So we have that. Now we created these guys here, all of this. We want to transfer over those. So because right now we don't have them. We don't have velocity either. We have nothing, almost. So let's do that. So we can use a attribute transfer and just can do that on the time after the time shift. And we don't have anything on the primitives, but we have on the points. I want the velocity, I want the burn, I want the density, divergence, and temperature. These are the ones that I want. And we should now have them. So if we look, we have density with a mix of different values. We have a lot of zeros, but that's something that it does. If we were to just disable these, we only have density now. And I look here now, all of a sudden, well, I guess, well, a lot more have density, but it's like when you add more into it, I guess it removes some stuff, but it's fine. You could also create this here if you wanted to. You don't have to use these guys, but it's a way of doing it. And we can look at it. We can say, you know, RAM from attribute. I want to look at density, and here we go. We got the density or divergence or temperature. I don't know. It's fine. We need something else, but first, we're going to start with creating a network here. And why I do this here over, there is a Vellum solver here in the top land. There are some settings that aren't exposed. So that's why. Let's, maybe these should be Vellum constraints. Out Vellum. Go in here. What do we need? We need a Vellum object. We need a Vellum solver, obviously, and otherwise not gonna happen. Not much gonna happen. And we need a source. Drag this in like so. And you always have that damn loading time every time. As soon as there's something about it needs to be done with the graphics card, it's Always that hiccup. So let's bring these in. So we have the SOP. This would be our Vellum. And the constraints would obviously be the constraints. And as always, not that I've done Vellum stuff on YouTube, but we need a ground and a gravity and shit like that. So make sure the ground is first, or make it mutual. And then good old gravity, always nice to have. I don't want to see this, so let's just not display it. And there we go, looking mighty fine. One thing with Vellum is more substeps. We're still getting this popping. So let's see what I'm doing wrong. Are we just do we have too many? That's interesting. Let's see. Every time I make a video, it's like there's something that is not working. When it did, when I tried it out myself. If you just disabled it, why are you? Oh, okay. It's the we have of course we are bringing in the velocity, so of course they are popping. They aren't popping, they are just moving with the velocity. We can visualize this. We can look at the velocity, and here we have it. So huge, like the velocity is a lot. So maybe we should dial it down, and we can add some like huge. We can add some noise as well, just a little bit maybe. And here you can of course customize this. Maybe you want to have more outwards velocity. You could do like a lerp function. We might do that in another video. I'm not gonna. There's so many things that you want to do. There's things that I'm not gonna do here, which is like I'm not gonna animate like the points disappearing or like fancy stuff, which is something that you could do, but I'm not gonna do it. But let's see. Something that we need to do is, where is it? We have in the grain collision, this is the one, attraction weight. Like, this looks kind of boring because now it's like all even and shit. So that's not much fun. I'm not sure what is it. Why is it colliding with the damn floor? Can I not have again? No ground plane action here. Why? Interesting. Again, something new and exciting. Where are we doing this wrong? Should work. I mean, this doesn't matter. Let's see. Still not. Let's see. Is it just moving? Oh, it's not care. It doesn't care about my ground. It should. It should care about it. That is interesting. Do I need to activate? Oh, I don't have collision zone. Okay, now it works. Okay, never deactivate anything, okay? Yes, some of you were yelling at me. I can feel it. I can feel it all the way from Sweden, okay? You can't be mean, okay? It's hard making videos. Now, let's make some randomization on this, on the weights. We can call it, I guess, attraction weight. I don't know why it's not called constraint strength, or maybe, I don't know. Since we're gonna deal with noise, I'm just going to do this in a VOP, point VOP. Okay, so noise, the only noise I ever use and know is the turbulent noise, and to say that I know it is might be a overstatement. We're gonna just do something like this, looking all good. Bind export, and now I just need to spell this correctly as well to see if I can. Attraction weight. Let's see if that actually works. I think I did it correct. Let's see. So we can do it here. Let's see, multiply constant. And then you say 10. That's too much. That's also a bit weird. Up this. Okay. That's cool. It's fine. Should we change the velocity a little bit to 2 maybe? And there we go. We got our... Is this all? I don't know. We'll see. Let's look at... I hope you have time. We have some time to spare here. This is gonna take a long time. Too much. I don't know why it's like after a certain amount, it's like, no, I don't want it anymore. I'm sure some of you do. See if we didn't do much. So, yeah, I think this is decent, but we're not done yet. This is the first of many tasks that we need to tackle on this source. And as usual, SOP import because it looks good, and I'm a professional YouTuber. We're gonna go with the Vellum, so we only see that. We don't want to see the floor. And maybe, now I'm being a pain in the ass, if we up this even more, maybe it'll look better. Yes, more is always better. Now you know. So maybe we should catch this. So let's do that. Let's just see what kind of stuff we have in here, because there's a lot of things that we don't need. And this is where you're gonna want, you would want to have age or life and use that as a multiplier. You don't have it in here, but if you can't create it, you can always do some vexing, right? But let's see. What is it? Delete attributes. I'm gonna delete some attributes because if you don't need them, better just remove them. Nothing in here, nothing in there. We don't need this. No, we don't need that. Now, let's see. We want to remove everything, and then my mic is in the way. But we want to keep the velocity, burn. Let's see. So you do like this. Where is it? The up caret. And do burn. We want to keep that. we want to keep the velocity, the divergence. I don't know if that's the correct spelling. We'll have to look at that. Temperature. Of course, the most important one, which would be let's see, the density. Wow. Divergence. Let's see if I can. Divergence. Yes. What else do we need to keep? I think it's all. Might want to have p-scale. Burn B, the burn temperature, density. Let's just keep the p-scale as well, just in case. No, let's not. Let's skip that. And now we'll do a file cache. I'm gonna call this Vellum source. It's gonna take that name. And untitled, which is my I'm so good at saving naming my stuff, which I'm not. Let's first let's do this in like 72 frames. I think that's fine. You don't have to have 240 frames. Just save this. We're almost done with the source, and the source is the most important part. Okay, if you don't get the source correct, which I don't know if we actually get it correct because I haven't tried it, but it looks kind of cool here as well, or at least. Now we're gonna kill it off a lot sooner, so we're not gonna have all of this. This is something you could use this in, you know, to add into explosion, but what we want to do now is, should we remove them? We could do an attribute wrangle. We can use a blast as well. I mean, if you don't want to use a wrangle, I guess. I think you can use frame. If frame is bigger than what? 6? That didn't work. Point didn't work either. Okay. I guess, is it the frame? Can't I do that? FF. Yeah, let's go with the wrangle. Wrangle always work, so let's, I even know how to make this smaller now, so you guys can see. Well, let's look at the frame with the big capital letter F. If it's bigger than something. Remove point. Okay. And then just 0 being the input, which would be this one. And then ptnum, everyone has a ptnum. And now it's gone. Okay. Now before this, probably we want to make it more punchy. Okay, this is the hard part. I think it's hard to get that nice popping, poppy feel. Poppy feel. We might want to transform this as well. Just because. So we're going to start with that. With a small one, and then 3 frames in, 2, something like that. An animator. You can use a fit here as well if you want to. So that's kind of cool. And boom. Set this to. I'm just gonna. Well, I guess we could make this like 0.1. Boom, boom. No, I'm gonna set this to 1. And 1 and 2. Maybe delete. Oh, for fuck's sake. Set this to 2. Maybe that's good. Boom. Yeah, that's good. That would just made me to make sure when do we want it to be removed. Yeah. Let's go with that. That's fine. We are gonna want to have another one here as well, which is gonna be our extra velocity. That's gonna have to live for longer. But that's for another day. Okay. Delete. This is where you probably want to make it more fun instead of just like I have done here, which is basically on then off. But yeah. Now something else. But let's do it first and see when it fails. We are going to Ibiza. No, we're not going to go to Ibiza. What we're going to do is we are going to use a trail. Because we don't want this in our simulation. This, like we're going to have to increase the subframes. So let's add some of this. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to do a add onto this to create lines. But here we're gonna need something, right? We're gonna by attribute something, which typically would be ID. So we can do that by just saying ID equal, and maybe this is ID PTNum. And there we go. Now we have our stuff, our almost emitters. Is that something you said? No, that's not how you say it. But let's see, I don't want them to be like super long. This is probably fine. Looking good. I like it. And it's gonna have to cache this later. Not sure why are we seeing, did I not delete? Remove unused points. Let's see. That doesn't do much. Yeah, let's go with it anyways. I'm not sure why it does this. It is moving every subframe. Yeah, we're gonna go with it anyways. We still have all our temperatures and shit like that, which is good. It's good. Because now what we can do is, I think, attribute volume rasterize attribute. That's what you need to put it into your Pyro solver or Axiom solver. And the stuff that we want is the burn. And oh boy, it's takes its sweet time to do that. Density. Not sure why it's working so hard. I've barely begun. We want all of them, okay? And now we have the classic issue. Or no, probably not. Let's see, how many voxels is this and why are you so demanding? Again, normally doesn't happen. It's not even many voxels, so why are you complaining? Is it because me streaming or having my OBS on? Could be. Could also be the particle size, maybe. We're gonna want to have a lot of particles or a lot of voxels. Okay, if you have too little, it's gonna look bad. Let's also always when I make a video. No. And let's see the coverage and pick W or velocity maybe. Normalize it. That might be fine. We'll see. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cache this. Okay, how many voxels did we have? Okay, that's a lot of voxels. Let's see. Yeah, that's too many voxels. We don't need that many. I'm thinking like 4 million. Well, 4 is 4 million. We're gonna go with that. And you don't have to see the volume. That's also something that's gonna slow things down a little bit or a lot. See that? And if I do to see them all, you can see it's gonna be even slower. So you don't have to see it unless you want to. File cache. Let's name this explosion raster. I'm just gonna save it all. It's gonna take some time for the first frames, and then it's just gonna be fast. Now we have that, and we can't see it, but it's there. Maybe I should have it on, just so that we can see it. Could be a good thing. But now it's a lot faster. We're gonna have to see if this is fine. That would be... Well, we need the velocity for these guys, but let's not do it right now. And let's start with making the, adding in Axiom and changing the settings and whatnot. Instead of just doing everything before and then you see magic, hopefully. Or it's gonna look like trash. We'll see. So, refilled, some monster. Contact me if you wanna be my sponsor. What do we have? We have this. So now we need to drop in Axiom. Axiom solver. And stop cooking. Dragging this into our... These are gonna be like our custom stuff. It's not gonna be like an Axiom 101, but because he already have that on his theory acceleration, I think it is. But these would be, all their own stuff, which we actually are going to use. We're going to use the source shape. Set this to collision plane. This is going to act as a, ground plane. It's going to cover everything. If you want to create your own, you can do that. Now I'm doing something anyways, which I wasn't supposed to do, but you would basically do a VDB, VDB from polygon, you name surface to collision, and there you have it. You could also do like sync, which would just kill off things that comes to it. You can do like, I think collision vel, collision temperature, and then you could also do like on in the density you could have like influence, and then influence vel, influence pressure and shit like that, and then you just like you would just merge it in with this like so. But we're not going to do that. Oh, okay. Control Z. Pro tip. Now we have that. And we are going to, I'm going to quote unquote optimize this a little bit. Remove these, remove the outputs. I just want to see the density right now. We're going to have to output the temperature later, so we actually can get some fiery fire. Velocity, if you want to use motion blur, which is always a pain in the ass to render for whatever reason, especially in Houdini. I hate it. So that would be that. And now just a little bit, like I'm changing the substeps is fine if you have to. It's going to change the look of your simulation by a lot, so you're gonna have to tweak settings. Division size, smaller number, high resolution. This one is basically, I think it's like allocating memory from the start for the, what is it, this like 32 million. We could just set this to this. It's gonna allocate more right away, but in the settings, I think this is the one. It's gonna auto increase that if it needs to. So I'm not sure. I don't see any, graphic glitches when it does it, so it doesn't really matter. It's gonna up it. So let's see, what do we want to do? Pressure. One thing, frame step on these two. Frame step obviously gonna be more faster because it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Frames. Time is, 1 second. In this case, we're using 24 frames a second, so it's gonna be like 0 and then 0.1 or whatever up to 1 second, which 24 frames, then it's going to be 1, so it's going to be slower. But this is explosion, and we want to have a big bang. Let's these settings. Well, I know you just want to see how it looks. Dissipation. This is how fast it's gonna, the smoke and shit like that's gonna gets removed. This is how fast you're gonna cool off the fire. If we just, let's hope it looks good now. Okay, it's a good start. Okay, it's not terrible. We don't have combustion yet either. Let's drop in a little bit more of density. Okay. Let's add combustion. So this is basically how fast you're gonna, how fast your fuel or burn, which is the same, how fast it's going to gets removed. Okay, and the faster, the more boom. Okay, and inefficiency is basically like, okay, even if we remove everything, which is the 1 is maximum, we can say like, oh, still keep 0.1, and this is basically what it's gonna do with all of this stuff that gets injected here. So let's make some values. Let's first see if something actually happens, because it doesn't always do that. Yeah, okay, so it is working. It's always good to just check. We can try to do solve a frame step. No, let's just keep this at the time. We can see if we want to up this a little bit. So let's do $FF 1 to 5 and then make it so we're basically starting at 2 in the time scale, and then it's gonna slowly go down to 1 over these frames, 1 and 5. This is also going to affect everything that is affecting velocity. This would be all of these guys. Okay, it's fine. Let's see if we can go here and should we add? Well, I guess we don't really have to do it there. Add more. Oh, one thing that I haven't done, which would be creating a light, which is quite important when you do these kind of things, because it looks better. So let's go. Yeah, already it looks amazing. I know you are very impressed right now. Something like that. You don't have to see it. And I have, if you press D while here, I have removed it. Otherwise you're gonna see the sky. I don't like that. I also have the volume quality to high and the filtering off. It's gonna give you higher quality, and also remove the limit resolution on 2D and 3D textures. You don't have to do that, but you can, and you should. Now, let's see. We're gonna add more pressure here in the start. This is just like right away on our source. Let's try more velocity. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. We can add more fuel right away. I think it looks okay. I think the density, you don't need that much density anymore. I just thought it was really bad, but so we can add a bunch of stuff here. This page disturbance. It looks. It's like there's a lot of that here. If I remove the turbulence first, and you can see all that fine detail. If I were to use the turbulence, it would be like these bigger puffs, which I think that's fine. You can go in when you create these, when you activate this, you get more stuff here. We can have control fields. I'm not going to do much with this, but I just want to try it out a little bit. If I do a lot here. Okay, let's try that, and we can do from 0 to 2 maybe. So it's not gonna affect it once it goes over that. Maybe we set this to 1. And let's turn on the disturbance. And it's too much. 0.5. Yeah, I kind of like it. And a little bit of confinement. For confinement, let's see, 2. See how fast this is. So fast. Let's add 0.5. That's gonna be the winning number. These guys aren't doing anything. We don't really, or do they? No, they don't. Yeah, exactly. Because we don't have any influence. Let's up this a little bit. Yeah, it's okay. So let's now create our velocity as well, or our extra velocity fields to maybe get rid of some of the puffs. So we're basically going to use what we have here. This dies at frames 12. This is 6 or 7 and 13. And we can have this at 10, so it dies at 11. And did I not have ID? I mean, we could attribute wrangle, do that here instead. We don't have to do it there. Like so. And this is gonna help us remove some of the puffiness. Or I don't know what it's called. Mushroom, that's the word. If we look at these guys, and let's add a color. Make it red. Let's see. I'm thinking they needs to go a bit before, which they aren't. So we can, well, we can do a retime maybe. Retime. Something like that. That's fine. Let's remove the color and shit. And what do we have? We have let's see. Let's see if we can delete attributes here. Remove all of them, I think. Maybe we should generate our own. So let's add another trail. Turn on velocity. Compute velocity. I think we should get velocity done. It looks like we're not. Okay, now we have velocity. Let's not remove density. I think we're gonna need it. At first, at least. Now we can go ahead and steal this. Take these. Let's have a look. Yes. Maybe make it a bit smaller, perhaps, maybe. What else? What do we need to do? We need to rename. Our density to influence. And if we look here, we have influence and V. Can we do it like this? No. No, that doesn't work. Let's do V influence vel. Merge. We're gonna have to delete one, I think, as well. I guess we're gonna have to blast this. Blast vel. And then do the same thing here, because this is gonna be influences. And now we have influence, and we have influence vel. That's not something that I came up with, it's Axiom. Monster. Cache. Explosion velocities. And save. Let's see. And now we have it. Now, like I showed before, we can merge in however many we want here. So drop that in. And let's see. Doesn't look too good. These aren't being used. If we do an extreme value here, I want to see if it is doing something. Set this to frame. And it doesn't look too good. What a surprise. Maybe it's a bit too much. I don't know. It's growing on me. Boom. Still get that kind of dumb. But I mean, I like. It's like the thing in the beginning. It's always ugly. Or at least when I do it, it's always ugly. But then it gets kind of pretty. But we're gonna retime this as well, so maybe it's fine. I'm just gonna output this, make this a bit more high res, and then we do a file cache. Axiom save. This is how you get the full speed of it. Do we have any? No. When you file cache it, you're gonna get the maximum speed, and it can be quite a lot faster. Now in the beginning we have the rasterized attributes, so it's a bit slower. But once we get over those, it gets pretty fast. And also when you output more than just the density, more stuff is gonna have to be written to your hard drive or your SSD, hopefully. So it's gonna take a bit longer then as well. But it's still pretty fast. I'm not sure how many voxels we're gonna get here, but we'll see. You can see that after this is done. So this is taking quite some time. I mean, 2 minutes. And I don't even know the voxels here. So let's just see. Maybe I added too much. Let's see. How many do we have? Okay, what is this? 154 million, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 154 million. And yeah, 2 minutes. And we outputted density and temperature. So it's pretty fine. And I'm recording, so I'm not sure if it's using the graphics card or not when I do my OBS recording. But yeah. And I have a 4090 card, just if you want to know. Now I'm just gonna disable Axiom. Retime. I'm gonna set this to like, I don't know, 2.5 times speed. And maybe to that. I'm gonna do 3. Boom. Let's look at this. Remove the resolution. I guess it's fine. Not a huge fan of these. That's probably our extra velocities that we added in. But yeah, overall, decent. It's not gonna sit here and say it's the most amazing thing that I've ever seen, but I'm okay with it. So what we need to do now is work on this is gonna be our pre-shader workout here. So let's see how that works. So in my little break here, I made some correction and some changes. I had accidentally removed the ID, which means that I didn't get these lines because it uses the ID. And I also made them live for a lot longer. I upped this. This is almost the same as it was before. I was changing the velocity, but I changed my mind. Oh, and I also kept the velocity that they already had and removed our velocity we created here. I made the volume rasterization thingy voxel size higher, or a bit larger, I believe, so that it covered more. Cached it. What else? I lowered the resolution, or it's not as high res anymore. Because tutorial. Made some changes to these guys. I upped the time scale a little bit, so it starts with 5 and go down to 1 instead. I made the first turbulence 1 only be affecting to 10 meters and then falling down off, and disturbance 2 I activated and just had that to be 0.25. Just some small changes here and there. Just to make it, I think it looks a little bit better, even though it is not as high res. It still looks pretty good. I thought I had way too much disturbance up here, so that's why this is not, now it's not being affected by the disturbance 1, because this is higher than 10 meters. I mean, we're still having a lot of this shit, but it's decent. So that is some of the corrections that I did. Yeah. Now, finally, we're gonna do our pre-shader setup. That's a good word for it? I don't know. We're gonna create our scatter. Now, I can show you. Some of you might not know. Pyro bake volume. You could drop this in, and if you have temperature, you should see temperature, which we are. And we can up this a little bit if we want to, and make this, I don't know, a little bit soak maybe. And there we go. And you could, if you have, let's see. Now I'm jumping all over the place. Is it scene import? And you have like a material which we are gonna need. Say we have this. You could then do like a create material, custom, choose stage, the material library, and now you'll have it in here, and you do get the XPU. We are gonna render with XPU, but it's a bit iffy. Sometimes it works, sometimes I don't know, it's just annoying. You would have to also add in the material, and I don't know if it would be like this or something like that. Volume 1, something like so, right? But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna create our own. We're gonna try to create our own shader. I've barely done any rendering in Houdini or shader building, so it's something that I recently started to play around with. So let's create our scatter first. Let's have a look. Well, we have density and we have temperature. So let's use the temperature. We're gonna have to blast everything but the temperature, and now it's gone, right? So we can use a volume visualization to kind of look at this, which we are going to do. And there we have our temperature. But to create our scatter, and there's plenty of ways of doing this. This is by no means a new way of doing it, but there is a volume resample, but you cannot use that on VDB. It's not gonna work, as you can see. So we're gonna have to convert the VDB into volume, and as you can see now, things start to happen. But we can get clipping, so we can do a VDB active, expand, just expand it, and there we go. So now we've blurred it a little bit. We can now convert it back to a VDB, into VDB. Now we have it, we're right back where we started. but we have more blur. Like that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fit this, because right now it's like everywhere. So let's take a volume wrangle and let's have a look at it. So, and we're currently on temperature, so temperature. Is that correct? Well, we're gonna see if it is. Temperature, and we're gonna fit it. So this is gonna be our minimum original value, and then channel again, and say max. This is our original max, and then we're gonna take it to 0 and 1, and like so. We can now fit this however we see fit. So we have a lot of scatter here in the beginning, and then it's just kind of goes away. Like so. This is all just, you know, playing around with it. See if you can get something that looks decent. Boom. Okay. Let's rename this. This is our temperature, but this is now gonna be our scatter. So if we look at this, it's not gonna work because we don't even have temperature anymore. We have scatter. Because we already have temperature here, and we're gonna merge these in. So that's why. What do we want to do more? We can do some more. VDB smooth, not there. Can smooth it out if we want to. And I mean, this is just like you can smooth, do more smoothing, less smoothing, do a bunch of shit, and then it's my mind. Combine, that's the one. And we can combine it using, you know, add and shit like that, if we would want to. So you can make like a hot core maybe and stuff. Let's just say that this is good. Now what we want to do is we want to merge these guys in. We take our original, and now we have everything. And to visualize this, I'm all over the place with my clicking. God damn it. We can see here in the spreadsheet, we have density, temperature, and scatter. Let's do these on density. I'm gonna not clamp. See if we clamp it, it's like all wish-washy. That's not even a word. Maybe something like this. I don't think this. Oh, it is. Like so, maybe. Emission. We use the temperature for the emission field. This again, no ramp. And this we have scatter. And we're not seeing anything. And now we're seeing something. Look at that, looks so pretty. And we can see, you know, we see these. This is where the fire is. Obviously, you're gonna want to play around with it. I think it looks pretty cool. And I believe, yeah, so density scale if we want to make this more. But again, this is just visualizing it. The big problem is going to be making this work with XPU. Or maybe it's not a big problem for some people, but for me it's going to be, this is a challenge. And let's see if I can make it work. Now, if you don't like the shape, which you might not, you would of course have to work on the shape itself and maybe combined multiple in one simulation, right? You can have multiple, then combine them in. And of course the shockwave, which I think is the coolest thing. I'm not going to do that here, but that's super nice. So that's obviously something that you want to have to make a really nice explosion. But we're not going to do that. Let's see. We can do an output like so. So it's always going to be outputted this. But I think this looks, it looks decent. Now when I look at it, it looks really soft. So I'm going to, why not waste your time and keep on recording it. And we are going to, let's see. Let's see, disturbance 1. Let's add some seed. Let's upres this to more. Well, where were we in terms of voxels? We're seeing 57 million, which is not a lot. That's like low res. I mean, if you have an explosion around here, there's no reason to have 100, 200 million. So it all depends. It still looks really good though. It's just that I'm not a fan of this, which is more of an issue with, you know what we could do? Take it back there, have it to whatever it was, add some confinement, and turn it on like so. And save to disk. And see how fast this is. Like, if you're a beginner, which I am, it's really nice to be able to do Pyro stuff really fast. And also, it keeps the shape really well in Axiom. If you go low res to higher res, the silhouette is, for the most part, really like on point. So that's really nice. Let's see if the confinement did anything for us. Who knows? Where this is, yeah, okay, now it's like really going all over the place. So let's go to, what we can do is, did I, by the way, volume visualization, we can actually look at the temperature, so we can use that as a control field. Let's just see, did I output it? I did. Good boy. Let's see, temperature. And here we can see range from it starts off from 0 to 10 is going to be white. Obviously it's going to stay white. So we're going to have to do from 1 to there. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can just do 1 to 0. Let's see. Temperature 1 to 0. Gonna have to do that. And save to disk. Of course, it's super quick because it's off. Save to disk again. There we go. It's all kinds of mushy. What I'm gonna do is lower this and we have a lot of this from 0 to that. Let's go with temperature from 0 to this. Let's give it a go. Maybe I don't have to cache it. Let's see. I don't know, maybe I'm asking too much here. I'll remove this. What do we get? Not huge. I guess it's fine. Yeah. Lower this value. Maybe that's a little bit better. You could animate this as well. From 0 to 2. I guess that's fine. Let's gonna cache this and then we're back in Karma XPU territory. Okay, so now let's do our shader. And by the way, if you want to have more, you can create more of these. If you want to have different masks, for example, to mix the color of the smoke based on something, shit like that. But yeah, this is what we have. This is what we're gonna go with, and you just have to deal with it. Now, let's go into the stage and do a scene import. Going to bring in our Yeo. I'm going to create a camera. Let's see, something like that. Maybe. So. We want to bring in our lights. Well, it's going to bring in all lights. And merge these guys together. such as so. And we need a Karma Settings. Turn this to XPU. I'm just gonna remove some of these. I don't know if this actually matters. Not this as well. Volume limit. Press D here if you wanna use viewport. So when you render, otherwise it might look really ugly when you're testing things, or you're rendering a much higher resolution than you actually see here. So viewport size. Yeah, we can make this a little bit smaller. Go over here like so. And now let's add a material library on this stream. Gonna drag in, whoops, drag in this. We don't have anything, so let's add a Karma material builder. Call it Pyro. Go back again, pressing U, autofill, like so. Nice. Going to save as well. Now we can go in here and we can just remove these. Let's start with adding an output. This is going to be a volume. We need a Karma volume. Pipe that in here. Like so. We have absorption, scattering, emission. So let's bring in our values that we created. So that would be like the density, float. Let's call this. It's also density, scatter. Now we got that. Cool beans. Let's turn on XPU. Looking all pretty. So this is the absorption, the scattering being colors. Now, if we add a Karma ramp and give this a color, so I'm just gonna remove this. Just give this a random color. And if I were to just do this, it looks really bad. So we're gonna wanna multiply this with this. And there we have it. Looks super awesome. And you know, you can make multiple of these. Add in a mix, for example, and then you can have like maybe another mask to pipe in the mix here. But I'm just gonna use one and make this into a color. Is gray a color? I don't know. Let's thicken up the smoke. Again, like there's a lot of multipliers. Add a constant. Drag this over here. If I were to add that here. And this. Did I do something wrong now? I'm pretty sure I did. Let's see. Oh. So we're back. If I add 2, is thicker, you know, get a lot of thick smoke here. Maybe, and I'm not sure. We can try it out. Do I need to do this? Multiply this with this. No. That's not a good idea. Or maybe it is. So that's... Yeah. Maybe that's how you should do it. Cool beans. That's that. And of course I don't want to have 10 here. A bit crazy. Yeah. Like so. And now we have our is this right? Maybe we shouldn't have this. I'm not sure actually. I mean, it looks kind of fine. Yeah, we don't need that multiplication. So let's add in the scattering or the emission, and we're good to go. Look at this. Looks pretty sweet. Let's add some coloring to it, and we can also do a multiplication on this in the end, so that it kind of stays where it should, like so. Otherwise it's just gonna go outside. Okay, that was good. Now add a ramp. Let's bring in the black to orange that we all use and love. And it doesn't work. So why doesn't it work? Who knows? But we're gonna multiply this with a constant. Is gonna be our you know, how bright it's gonna be. So 250 is like the default. Doesn't matter. Maybe we can't use this. I'm always confused about these all of these nodes. Well, that clearly did not work. So it should be the ramp. Or it should be this. Let's see. Let me look. No. Or what do we even get with this? We have the color. We're doing something weird. Okay, there's a wrong multiplication. Now it works. Okay, it's weird. Should we have... Wow. Well, that doesn't look that good. So this is kind of where we were. Let's see. 5. Let's try some stuff here. Setting a value. We do have the temperature. And that's that. That's that. Boom. Kind of like it. It do look a bit soft though. This is where we probably would want to have some other mask as well. But we do have, let's see. I mean, I like it. You might not like it. There should probably, it do look a little bit soft. Now it's even more burning. Yeah. Let's increase the settings a little bit. I don't think that's gonna matter that much though. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Probably not. It's just make it sound like I see something that you don't. Yeah, I mean, look, YouTube compression. Come on, it's very detailed here. Then again, it's also what we have, like the shape itself. Like maybe it's maybe we need to work on the scatter mask that we have. We can pin this, and I'm also going to lower this again because 16. Then maybe, yeah, that's good. So pin it. Let's go back just for fun, but I mean the tutorial is kind of done. Now it's just me messing around. Let's see. Let's look at the temperature. This is what we have here. Let's unpin this now. Temperature. And let's that. So that has details, which we could suppose use. Something like so, maybe. Probably temp. Bring it in here. We should now have temp. We can go back into this and bring in our temp. Now we can maybe do something with this, or maybe let's go back. We're doing it here. So we have that's what we have. We do another combine. Bring these guys in. And see if we can subtract. No, multiply. Oof. It's not very good looking though. Maybe. Let's give it a go. Do we have more details? Who knows? But I'm not gonna be messing with this too much. I'm gonna pin it. And then we're gonna call it a quit after I played around with this. Multiply. Oh, I'm not even sending it in. I'm stupid. Divide. It's a look. Adding it in. It's very bright now. Very. Subtract maybe. Yeah, I like this. Now we're seeing a little bit of more break-offs. You can say. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call. I mean, I could sit here all day long, wasting your time. I enjoy it. It's fun. But maybe I shouldn't. Real black. I don't know, something like that. Boom. So hopefully you learned something. I think I learned something myself. So it's probably a win-win. Hopefully it wasn't too long. It's probably pretty long, but I'm gonna... No, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna try to make them shorter. I tend to ramble a bit too much. But yeah, that was that. Hope you guys had a... hope you learned something. Okay, see you in the next video.